Today on the show we have Special Effects New Zealand.
I'm Chester Dextar.
And I'm Jake Hurrel.
What are we? We're those wizard guys who make stuff and do cool things. Yeah!
Woo! And I'm going behind the camera.
Hi everybody out there in television land. I'm Chester Dextar.
And I'm Jake Hurrel.
What are we? We're those wizard guys who make stuff and do cool things.
Chester and myself, we're based in Christchurch. Chester runs Special Effects New Zealand. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
Oh, that's where I make lots of special effects in New Zealand.
Yeah, so we're always heading to the Armageddons and all sorts of conventions around the country, wherever we can get to. Got 3 bases across New Zealand at the moment, Hamilton, Dunedin and Christchurch. So everyone out there should jump on Facebook and have a look at our stuff, and if there's anything we can make for anyone, feel free, have a look.
Why isn't there a base in Wellington?
Yeah, I think we probably can have. It's all just about who's got a workshop that'll, that I can use while I'm in town. And I think I know a guy, so.
Yeah. Sweet. Nah, so far it's worked really well. You've got a pretty sweet workshop in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Awesome workshop in Christchurch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
yeah, I've got 2 in Dunedin and now Hamner Springs.
Yeah, one in Hamner as well, actually.
Of all places.
Yeah, the one in Hamner. Yeah, I haven't actually been there yet myself, but I'm really keen to go there.
Art-related.
Yeah, it's only just opened up, and so far you've been doing all sorts of jobs there.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to understand where you guys have come from.
His story's a lot cooler than mine.
Still want to hear yours. You did the Hobbit.
My story starts a long time ago.
1937.
Yeah. 19 diggity dick. When I was just knee-high to a grasshopper. No. I guess the question is, when did you get into it? I'm asking my own questions.
Yeah.
Chester, when did you get into this whole special effects artistry? Well, that is a good question. I've pretty much been into making things and learning and understanding that for my whole entire life. But it wasn't until I was about 14 that I got a book that told me how to do all the special effects of Tom Savini's movies.
Do you remember the name of the book?
Yeah, it's called Grand Illusions.
Awesome.
And it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and I read it cover to cover many times over. I've still got it, it's in pieces now. A lot of the pages have stains on them from where I learned to make fake blood and all the other cool things in there. Just using it almost like a recipe book. I learned so much from that. And then everything else that I could teach myself, and then I learned a lot on the job, just by meeting the right people. So I think the first ones I met were Weta, and then I went on to work in Canada on shows like X-Files and that. And then I've also done things in Australia for productions and shows. But pretty much, yeah, self-taught a lot of the time. And massive fan of horror movies, and especially the very old ones with lots of practical effects. And it's been my life's work to figure out how that stuff was done and then to replicate it.
And collects every VHS possible.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
It's got about 10 sacks full of VHS tapes.
VHS.
It's like sacks.
How did you guys meet?
We met for the first time when Chester was doing a zombie film, which was called Meat Yard.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Meat Yard, which I think there's a trailer to on the website, eh?
Yeah, there's definitely
Well,
a
at least
really
the scene.
cool sort
I
of
think there's an
preview. Yeah, there's a scene and a
scene.
preview.
Lexa will drop a link in the bottom. Oh, hang on. Let's try that again. In the bottom. Lexa will drop a link in the bottom.
Oh!
Woo! Dropping links in no one's bottom here, buddy. Alright.
Yeah, on our YouTube page we have some really cool videos that we shot from that production and the first one that Jake was involved in?
Yeah, it was a zombie film. Check the link below. Lexa will drop that in there very soon. I got called up by a friend of mine who I worked with at the time, and she said, "Hey, this friend of mine, Chester's shooting the zombie movie. Do you want to come and be a part of it?" And I knew of one guy in Christchurch called Chester, and I knew of him because he did special effects, and he was in the show called Back of the Wire, which I was a huge fan of. And everyone at my high school used to watch that show. It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was the bee's knees. So we loved it, and I sort of stalked him for a little bit. I was really young. I was probably only about, I don't know, 14, 15 or something at the time.
So only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
But this was pre-Facebook. He was stalking me.
Yeah, no, it was like pretty much he only had a website, a YouTube channel, and that was it. There was no, the rest of it wasn't really that common back then. And so I got invited to be in the zombie film, and I said, "Hell yeah, I'll do that." So I went out for a day, got made up as a zombie, and didn't get too much interaction with Chester, unfortunately. Didn't get to bug him about Back of the Y and that sort of thing. But years later, just kind of in a strange roundabout way, seeing him at an Armageddon in Christchurch is what brought us back together. Here we are now, all these years later. It's actually quite crazy. But yeah, I gave him my number, pretty much said, "Hey, I'd love to come and learn some stuff, do some work," and he said, "Cool, come down and we'll get up to something," and we did, and it was great. And all this time later, just seeing how it's progressed and seeing how Chester has progressed from those Back of the Y days, which I'm, was so familiar with him as a person for so long, and then discovering this talent of his special effects has just been the coolest thing ever. And to be a part of it now and be here at Armageddon this weekend is really cool. It's really, really cool. Pretty much from that, we've ended up working together on a lot of cool projects.
Yeah, now we're buddies.
That's really cool. Yeah, we are. We're totally best friends now, which is awesome. It's quite. I stalked him so much that he couldn't get rid of me.
He stalked him so much that they now live together.
On this bed.
Yeah, right here. There you go. Contractual obligation. From there, recently, we've had a pretty good run. So as of right now, there is, I believe, at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 episodes out there on the web for a web series that we worked on called Life in the Dead Zone, which is directed by a good friend of ours, Peter Tonks, and produced by a couple of other good friends, Gabriel Page and Matt Sharp. Team all came together, put this series online for everyone to see.
No, wait. Did we make it a series?
It's
I
now,
feel like we made a movie and they cut it into a series.
Yeah, that's what happened, which is it's quite cool actually.
Oh, no, wait. I remember. None of us could come up with a good ending, so we thought, let's just make it a series and it'll keep going forever.
Yeah, pretty much. But at the moment, I've spoken to Pete, and he said there's 6 episodes, plus a 7th, which is just sort of extra randomly scenes. And between each episode, there's also a wee half sort of length video, which I guess is only 3, 4, 5 minutes long.
Okay, so it's Life in the Dead Zone, and it's almost like a mockumentary, and it's gory, and it's dark and grim, and it's freaking hilarious too.
Yeah, it's
like it's just such a funny film.
You've got 30 seconds to explain a plot and go.
Oh, dramatic comedy with zombies.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the guy who works for the council, and zombies have rights, and he has to catch them, but he can't
in
kill
a post-apocalyptic world.
Oh, funny as
In
hell.
Christchurch.
iZombie, the way it
It's
should
not
be.
actually in Christchurch. It's in Kitworth City Council. That's where it's based.
Yeah.
Kitworth.
Yeah, but it was real clever. He used all the red zone of Christchurch after the earthquakes, where there's just lots of
Which is now obviously completely
empty
gone.
houses
It's
and
completely gone. Did have permits, so we're safe. Yeah, don't check us on that, but we have. Yeah, we're good. We're not.
No, that's kind
it'll be
of
fine.
how the title Life in the Dead Zone, because it's a bit of a play on Red Zone, and
Yeah,
it's
totally.
a really clever use of a whole dead city full of empty buildings, and
And that was the coolest thing. It's not.
that were
We're not cashing in on people's misfortune
No,
or anything.
not
It was
at all.
purely using the best of it, making the best of a bad situation.
Why?
And now we've got something awesome that we can release for everyone to see. And obviously, if people don't want to watch it, that's up to them. It's
Now we've got lots of effects in there, but we're also acting in it as well, and there's some really funny stuff that it's just you got to check it out.
Yeah,
Life in the Dead Zone on Facebook.
Chester's boy Pax also makes a really cool cameo. He is one hella good zombie. But yeah, it's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. We'll be sharing the hell out of it on our page too. So please jump on Special Effects New Zealand on Facebook and Life in the Dead Zone.
Yeah,
it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
Because I think it's personally cool, and I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know. Speak about your Hobbit experience.
Oh man, so the Hobbit thing was cool. That was really out of the blue. So I worked on a TV series called Hope and Wire, which was directed in Christchurch. And that was done by Galen Preston. It's a cool series about the earthquakes, this drama series. And from there, everyone pretty much working on that shoot, or most of, was going back to work on the Hobbit pickups for films 2 and 3. And I kept getting in everyone's ear about trying to get onto this because it's like my dream job sort of thing. Like, that's the whole reason. I think Lord of the Rings is why I got into this whole sort of thing. And
why?
well, yeah, that too. It was a bit. That's the thing. It was like this amalgamation of everything that was like from sort of mid-90s through to early 2000s. Like, yeah, just it was all this stuff happened in my life which sort of culminated in me doing what I do now, or try to do now. And and doing that, I got in everyone's ear about trying to get on the Hobbit, and pretty much everyone said no, like it's not going to happen. It's a reduced crew already. They're only going to get the best people back. It'll be a fight for the work, whatever. And so I bought a really heap of crap car and drove up to Wellington, and the car stopped working. And I was living in the car, sleeping out of it, and just trying to get work on the Hobbit every day. And there's actually, I just remembered there's actually quite a sad story with this. I got fired before I got hired. So yeah, you're gonna love this.
Oh.
So I got a job interview with a particular department. I'm not going to go into too many details here. But anyway, long story short, I walked into someone very high up's office because I'd just come from a TV show where working closely with the producer and production manager and that sort of thing was really common, and it was really a real comfortable shoot to work on where there was a lot of flexibility. Obviously, the Hobbit it's a different whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's a
different animal.
I don't want to say it's a different class or different levels. It's not, because Hope and Wire was still awesome, but it was just bigger. It was just bigger, and because of that, higher platforms, and it was just, you had to be careful about how you address these people, because there are a lot of crazy people trying to get into these films. And I say that, in the politest way possible, but they had people flying from halfway across the world, sleeping outside the studios and stuff. Like, that is nuts. Like, I mean, I love the dedication. I think it's incredible, but and good on them for doing it. But that is nuts. Like, honestly, you can't tell me that isn't nuts. So anyway, I got told I wouldn't get work on it. I came up here, got a job offer with a particular department, went into someone's office. Immediately security came out and grabbed me. I'd already gone in and signed 100 different forms for every different studio that was working on it and all this and that. And I told them my story. I'm from Christchurch and never thought I'd be here. And this place is like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and I'm little Charlie. And where's Willy Wonka? It was just the coolest thing ever. And I was just in awe of it, and I'd actually run into a mate who was working on it, and he'd showed me around the whole set and stuff. And so anyway, security grabbed me and pulled me into their office, and they said, they'd fully closed the blinds and stuff, and peeking out. It was real weird, over the top dramatic, And I was like, what's going on? And they were like, oh, who are you working for? Why have you been wandering around all the sets? Have you been taking photos? Give us your phone, all this stuff. And I was like, what is going on? I said, no, look, I came in for a job interview. The person I had the job interview with had pretty much just left me. I was just painting some stuff, and we had a quick interview, and she was like, oh, I'll get in touch. And I was just still there painting. I was like, oh, okay, sweet, I'll just keep painting dog all door. This is great. And then, I ran into this friend of mine. But anyway, so security fully thought I was working for God, I don't know who. They kicked me out, and they just said, you screwed up, you're never going to work here. So they said to me, "You're never going to work here," and that really hurt me. And so I ran home to my friend's house. He lived just around the corner. I was staying in my car outside his house at the time, and I rang my mum. I was just like, I was just really sad, man. I really wanted to work and it screwed up. And then anyway, that afternoon I got a phone call, and it was someone from another department, another HOD, and they says, "Hey, do you want to come in for a job interview?" And I was like, "Oh, what if word's already gotten around? What is this? Like, what am I doing?" And so I went to this job interview, and I told this person who the job interview was with, and they thought it was the best story ever. And then just through a friend of mine, Sam Page, who I owe a lot to, he pretty much managed to pull some strings, and after telling me for months on end he'd never get me work on the Hobbit, he got me work on the Hobbit. And so it was cool. So I worked at Dale up on Mount Crawford on location for a few weeks there. Yeah, it was cool. And then a few odd days at the studio. When they were doing like Thorin's Death Scene in Lake Town and Burkwood and a few random things. And
Chester, give me a couple of the titles that you've sort of worked on, some films and TV shows that you've worked on that you haven't mentioned yet.
Okay, well, obviously Back of the Wire is a big one, and a lot of people know that I went away and did this X-Files thing. But before that, I was actually working with Weta on stuff for the original Hercules series. So that's going back a little
so
bit.
sweet.
Yeah, the very first day I ever met Richard Taylor, he had me building rocks that Hercules was smashing up or something. Just fake rocks out of foam and stuff. Bloody exciting.
How did you meet Richard?
Oh, I phoned him up and I said, "Hey, I heard you do special effects and I like this stuff too, and can I meet you?"
When you can pick up a phone and ring Richard Taylor.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, he called a place called Weta Workshop and he answered the phone. Yeah, it was a different time. And that was when Weta was in Adelaide, just off Adelaide Road, by the basin there.
Is that where we went and checked out last time?
Yeah, pointed that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just this tiny little place, and he said, "Yeah, sure, come over." So I did, and I brought some stuff to show him that I'd been making, and he went, "Oh, that's cool, you know what you're doing, do you want to help me make some rocks?" And me and my buddy spent the afternoon working in Weta. And then he did the big move where he went out to Camperdown Studios, and I was with him then. And so I got to see how they set up a brand new big special effects workshop. And then when I went overseas and I worked for these guys, they were just moving out of their basement into a big premises for the X-Files. And so I got to share a bunch of knowledge on what I'd seen done at Weta. And so they could, learn off that. And there was times actually where we'd phone each other up. I'd be in Canada and I'd phone up Weta, and we'd all pass the phone around the workshop and everyone would talk to each other, and it was quite a neat time. But the same company did stuff for the Outer Limits series, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. I remember the Poltergeist series. That was something we were getting involved in over there, and
your story of how you got work in Canada was almost, didn't you get his number out of a magazine or something? Wasn't it similar to the Richard Taylor
same
thing?
sort of thing, yeah. Yeah, I got to Vancouver not really thinking about it. I bought a magazine, Fangoria, and it had an article in there about the guy who does the effects for X-Files, and he just looked so cool. He had a leather jacket with patches on it, and a goatee beard, and and ponytail. It's just like, oh, this guy looked cool. And he had quite a specific last name, quite a unique last name, so I just looked him up in the phone book. And awesome, I found one that lived about 3 blocks away from me, so I called that one, and it was him. And I said, "Oh, you seem cool.
So
I want to come and meet you." And that's how that one worked out. And sure enough, you show up with an armload of cool stuff you made, and that's all you really need back then. Okay, so when I'm walking around in the dwarf costume, everybody thinks, of course, that I'm Gimli because of the helmet, but I'm not. I'm actually my own original character called Bulbous. And if you watch the Hobbit films, it turns out that all of the dwarfs had those helmets at some stage. There's a whole room full of them in Erebor, so he's just another dwarf who's got the same sort of helmet. He's Bulbous the dwarf.
it's almost like he's just found that and just picked it up at some stage and whacked it on and just wore it for years,
Yes,
and then he's found a bit of chainmail and put
something
that
like
on and killed an animal and worn its hide and that sort of thing.
It was a sort of a chuck together costume. I know it's ridiculous to say that because it looks so good now, but at the time I thought, you know, if I made the big nose and put a beard on, it might be cool. And once I started doing all that, it just all evolved. And so now it's got the boots from my old Tuscan Raider costume with a bit of fur tied on them. And the furry bit around my bum is off my old Gamorrean guard costume. And then I found that sort of undershirt weird looking thing in an op shop, and Jake already had the chainmail from another project, so it was pretty easy to sort of throw together that costume once I'd made the helmet out of little bits of foam and stuff. And I built that straight over a bicycle helmet, and it's still got the strap, you know, I could totally wear
That is illegal.
totally wear that on the street with my long hair flowing out the back.
But yeah, it is the nose, I think, and the beard that really...
Yeah, I think...
the long hair and the helmet as well.
Just because I know how to do silicone prosthetics like that, that's what really sells it for people.
What's coming up for you guys?
Oh my God, we have got some amazingly exciting projects coming up actually. The zombie stuff was filmed a little while ago, so that's all in the can and getting released. We are looking at filming a Lord of the Rings fan film with a good friend of ours who's written a hilarious script.
Yeah, really clever guy, really funny guy. And he looks a lot
We've been doing a lot of music video stuff together. So obviously, once again, you find Facebook, that'll show you where the website is, and all of our links will be on there, and that'll take you to the Facebooks and the YouTubes and stuff.
Yeah.
But Jake's been writing a script. We're toying with some ideas, and I'm not going to give too much away, but suffice to say, it will be a culmination of all the best stuff that we can do together, and there will be a gorilla involved.
Yeah. It's a really cool project. We're really slowly chipping away, but it's going to happen. We both know it's going to happen. We've been talking about it for too long now, and it's actually starting to get to a point now where it's just too good not to do. It started off as a few silly ideas, and it's just one of those things, as I'm sure you would know, and anyone else who sort of, you know, is into this stuff knows, is you get that creative mind going, and it's kind of hard to avoid some ideas. You just gotta sort of.
But before all that happens, we got 48-hour film race that we seem to get involved in every year. So that's always a fun one. We've got a pretty cool little crew together, and we come up with wacky ideas, and I pull things out of my workshop to play with for the day. And
it's almost, we try not to write around certain props. It's more kind of like we write something and it's like, Chester, have you got this? And he's like, give me 20 minutes and I will. And it is quite fun though. Sometimes you pull out certain things and it's like, oh, what about this? What about this? And then you do end up going, hey, we do have this really random thing which we can almost guarantee no one else is going to have. So. Yeah.
And it's also a really good sort of kick in the pants for us. We've been sitting around all, for a few months now without making anything, creating anything. We all get together and kind of forced to do it all in this quick time frame.
Yeah, it's great.
And it gets all the juices flowing, and guarantee everybody at some stage during the weekend will say, hey, we should get together to do this again more often.
Yeah.
So good things always come out of those.
Yeah, where to from here? I'm really happy with where Special Effects New Zealand is at. It's come a long way in the time I've known Chester, a long way, and to see where it is now, it's evolved, and it's
because of our boss. She's awesome.
It's grown, yeah, totally, and we're just a really good team, and it works well. So moving forward, I just want to see this grow and just go to more events, meet more people who are like-minded, and just show everyone what we can do. That's the thing.
Right.
We're not. It's similar with this web series. We're not really in it for profit as such. It's more just at the moment getting our stuff out there as much as possible. But now having the online shop and that sort of thing, people don't have to rely on seeing us at Armageddon events and out in public and that sort of thing. It's got a home base where all of these limited collectibles and stuff like that can be sold, and it's become a business. It's really cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
So if somebody's interested in sort of checking you guys out and sort of, as you guys say, stalking but following.
Okay, so we've got a massive online presence coming together now. I guess the hub at the moment to find and go from is our Facebook page, Special Effects NZ, because everyone can find things on Facebook. But apart from, and all the links will be there, but then you can go off to my personal Facebook, and we've got an Instagram, and we've got the YouTube, and a real website as well, which is specialeffectsnz.com.
And if you go to our website, we've got an online shop where there's all sorts of limited collectibles popping up.
There's links to the Flickr and all that stuff you see.
So
hundreds of photos.
Yeah, heaps of ways to find us, and following Life on the Dead Zone via the Special Effects New Zealand Facebook page as well is probably the best way to keep updated with all that, because we'll be sharing
you like that page, and then they'll give you all the notifications on when every series is coming out.
Yeah, and we're hoping this is in time. We will be at Christchurch Armageddon in June.
Doing a big push, I think, for that zombie film.
Yeah, the zombie shoot's going to be having its own sort of stand there, hopefully. So we'll be giving out some limited collectibles and a few other bits and pieces for it. So it'd be awesome for everyone just to get involved in that and just share it around.
Yeah, it was filmed in Christchurch, so we kind of want to release it in Christchurch, and anyone who comes and sees us at our Christchurch Armageddon stall will be getting some cool sort of exclusive offers from us.
Yeah, some real awesome merch for the show, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, it's early days yet, but if the zombie show does do all good, then there is a second script, which is pretty much been all approved by the director and everything. So that may be shooting up here.
Yeah, so after about 35 years, I'm just starting to crack it.
What if somebody is like-minded and wants to get involved with creating things? Is there a way that they can get involved that way?
Oh, this is the best part. Chester runs courses.
That's right. Starting next month in Christchurch, we've got some classes running through the Rising Home School, and I'll be teaching people basics of special effects makeup, and another class on how to do a rubber mask, a full face mask. The way I do with the professional results and everything. And we're also doing, I think, holiday programs coming up. So most of that will be discussed on our website, which you can find through our Facebook. A little sneak preview from our Hobbit fan film, I think.
Yeah, we brought these up just in case we had the opportunity to show them off. So you're the only one who's getting to see them. These are some silicon elf ears right there. Chester poured those.
I just kind of whipped these
just
up
the other day.
Over the last couple of days. But that's because about a month ago we'd made a mould of Jake's ears, so I was able to sculpt them so they're perfectly fit and clip right onto his ears like that.
Yeah, they feel really good.
Now you can imagine just a tiny bit of glue across the ear and a bit of makeup just to blend it in.
Yeah, can't even notice them. They feel great.
Yeah, and it's just a little sort of sock thing almost that slops right over his ear.
Yeah.
Trick, huh? So I'm the dwarf and he's the elf.
And as far as scale goes, we're pretty good, and we do need a hobbit.
Yeah, when Dave Duckworth got us involved in that, he just wanted to see if perhaps I could come up with some kind of devil-looking costume for Jake to wear. And I actually had a spare plaster head, so I sculpted the whole thing straight onto that and cast it in gelatin and glued that straight onto Jake on the night and made it up. We actually shot it twice, if I remember. And
I think you made, was it 3 prosthetics that we did?
Yeah, because it was just...
I think we ended up having 3 different opportunities, right? There was first there was sort of like a wee test shoot just to try a few techniques in that, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
And then
And it had quite a cartoonish look when I did it that time.
Yeah. There are, I think there's photos on the Facebook page though.
And then we went back to film it again, and I just went for a totally different look, much more realistic, sort of blended in thing. And that was really neat. And I was making glove hands for my Cantina Alien cosplay. So I already have these cool looking devilish fingers with these big spiky.
They
so
look really good on camera too.
I whipped out an extra pair of those, and that was the whole thing. Little rubber horns, gelatin prosthetic on the...
There's the scene where I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like scraping my hand, and along it you can see these like real dark claws and the shadow behind it. It looks awesome. It's a really cool shot.
It worked really well, and the gelatin's got a great sort of translucent look to it, a great sort of organic way it moves, and
it made the performance so much easier and more creative by having that. Like I was able to move, and every subtle movement this prosthetic would just react naturally. It was awesome.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun, that one.
It helped
turned
a lot.
out really good. Having really good camera gear and cameramen and lighting and all that sort of stuff is just such a treat for us, because usually if we watch this stuff back, it's just off a little cell phone test shot that we've done in the workshop. So when we see something full noise, that's all done up to the nines with all the 4K and lighting and smoke, and it's just epic for us, to really see our stuff at its as good as it can be. So
there's nothing more satisfying than actually seeing that finished product.
And it comes out, better than it was when you see it in real life. I don't know how to explain that, but it's a great feeling for us, and that's why we love to get involved in projects like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a hell of a lot of fun. And playing the devil was a dream role. Like, if someone, it sounds weird, but if someone had sort of said to me, "What's your dream sort of role?" and it's like, well, I think the devil was totally one of them. Like that's
Dr. Satan.
the devil was totally one of those
classic
dream roles that I wanted to play. And then just recently, I got to do another dream role, which was the just for a photo shoot, but it was the Joker. And so I got to dress up as this pop art style Joker, which is awesome. It looks awesome. They're really cool. I was really, really impressed. And there was a friend of ours in Christchurch, Conrad, who took these amazing photos. And again, having people like that with the right gear
with the top gear. Even when I borrowed your camera that weekend and I took photos of my own stuff with a decent camera, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So when we get to see stuff, like shot on the Red camera or on the 4K or something, and it's just as good as our stuff can look.
Makes it so worthwhile. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's in the for me as well. You're probably not so bad at it because you've been doing this for years, but I get really judgy of my own stuff. Like I'm real self-critical in that, and but it's
cool.
Think
about the difference, Jake, between when I started making special effects and things were being filmed on video camera.
Yeah.
To now, and it's all 4K, super high
HD.
You can't have one tiny blemish. You used to be able to sort of fudge it a little bit, and it looks good from back here. But no, none of that now. It's just got to be so perfect.
But with that sort of self-critiquing, and that I've always found, like after watching stuff back, it gives you confidence in what you're doing, and if you're on the right track, and if it doesn't give you confidence, you need to change something, and that's. And that's really cool, us being able to work so closely and do that sort of stuff and collaborate on these projects where if something does need adjusting or changing, we can action it right there and then, and we work really well together as a team, so it's really cool.
So what was it like working with David Duckworth with South Island Media?
South Island Media's done some awesome projects with us, and we're looking forward to doing more.
Yeah, Dave is a perfectionist when it comes to his visuals, so it's really satisfying for us because that's when we get to see some of the best footage really that we can see back of what we've done,
And again, these videos lately have given us a surety in his work, him a surety in our work, and that's what I mean when you see these final products and the way they're coming out, the quality at which we're seeing this, it's totally attributed to the fact that his performance is at its best. I'm trying my best, and Dave's obviously doing his best, and what the audience is getting is as good as it can be. So.
Plus, he's got a lot of cool toys,
He does, and that's the thing. We're always
thing that rolls, and
we're always
that moves, and
trying different things out. And I'm not saying by any means that the videos we do are the best or anything. They're just videos, and some people won't like them, some people will, and that's fine. It's with anything. But working with Dave gives us this opportunity to try these things. So each video has its own kind of unique wee twist on whatever gear or technique we were playing, or whatever influence we had during the time of shooting that. We might have been watching a particular genre of films, you know, a lot of horror or something like that, and it totally... We like to do that before a project. We sort of study up, and our way of studying is watching movies. It's a great excuse, right? We're studying. Film people. Well, yeah, as we said earlier, everyone can find us pretty much all over the internet just by going Special Effects New Zealand. We've got our website, Facebook page, we're on the Snapchats, we're on the Instagrams, we're on the YouTubes. So please jump on there, have a look at our stuff. The website, like we said, you guys can jump onto our shop. We've got heaps of awesome collectibles on there, all handmade by Chester himself. So please get involved in it.
Yeah, you'll see a bunch of my art projects and stuff in there too, and old videos, and there might even be some back of the wire. You might be able to see what Jake saw in me.
Yeah,
all those years ago.
So through through those channels, you'll be able to find all the film stuff that we're doing. Life in the Dead Zone, what we've been talking about quite a bit here.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, we're really excited to see that come out. So you know, as much attention as can be given to that would be awesome. So yeah, another dream job. Exactly. Getting to work on a zombie.
Yeah, and Pete Tonks, you know, he's a great guy to work for. He's, you know.
He is. He's just full of ideas, and they
enthusiasm.
Again, seeing that on screen, like, because we've seen a few test screenings of this. We've seen it, you know, cut together as almost a film, and then split up into smaller sections. And each time we've seen it, it's just again giving us all a surety in each other's work. What Tonks is doing is awesome. You know, Gabe, Matt, Chester, myself.
I might be biased, but I think it's a winning formula.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is. So as much as we can get that out there and just have people seeing it is all we ask. You know, we're not in that to make a profit. We just want to get that out there and just show it off to the world. It feels like it's been something that we've had to, you know, keep in hiding while it's been worked away on, which is fine. And again, those guys are perfectionists as well. And they're not going to release it until it's ready, and it's finally come time. So
great.
Get out there and watch some episodes.
Subscribe, comment, like, share.